Good morning, Mr. Vicky. Good morning, my teammates. First of all, allow me to introduce myself and my team member first. My name is Fong, Jiunn, Kang.
My name is ELANOR.
My name is Tai. My name is ARVEENA.
Today we are going to present you the topic of the quantitative data collection for Alexandra Satino. First of all, let's take an overview on the background of the case study itself. Alexandra would like to start a small business which is dealing with children's wear, where she highlights a product is made of a natural fabrics and bright in design and high durability in features. Therefore, she approached the Blue Boat to understand how she is able to sell a product in their outlets. However, due to high pricing, the Blue Boat is a little bit hesitant to stock her product and has further suggested to conduct market research to identify what is the potential of a product to the market. So the market research, through the market research, all the information and intelligence will be gathered and provide an overview for Alexandra to study the barriers and the challenge to market entry, as well as to explore the further opportunities. The market research itself is able to gain insight into consumer attitude and behavior, so it's enable Alexandra to study from the report to compile all the findings to formulate effective marketing strategies. The aim of the research currently is to foresee what's the market size for children's wear, and also to identify the major distribution channel that allow her to enter into the market. Most importantly, through the market research, she was able to understand what is the barriers and the competition, and most importantly, as well as the factors that influence purchase decision. The first market overview showing the market value forecast, the market distribution, and the geographical segmentation. All of this is allowed Alexandra to study or to analyze the SWOT, as well as to strategize the segmentation, position, targeting, and positioning. The next overview is more onto analysis like a pastel to understand what is the competition, the opportunities, and most importantly, the drivers of a buyer power, which will be able to gain insight that allow Alexandra to understand the consumer behavior and purchase pattern. To summarize it, from this market research, Alexandra able to segment the market effectively, as well as to identify the threats and to identify the barriers and the challenge ahead. And from all of this, we have how she is able to gain from the information and the intelligence to understand the opportunities and tries to anticipate it, and therefore in order to sustain the business and the profitability. Next, I will pass to ELANOR to continue on the discussion of primary data or secondary data.
Thank you, David. Alright, for a market research to actually be successful, one must actually have to do more, go in depth into what kind of data they have to use in order to establish their business. Right here, I've already stated the advantages between the primary data and secondary data. For primary data, it is commonly known. Primary data is actually data that a researcher collected by her or himself for the purpose of his or her own research. So here you can see that the advantages of it is that it is more reliable as the ways of measurement can be tailored to the researcher itself, him or herself, because they know what they want to find in this market research. They know their aims, they know their objectives, and they know the way to collect the data in order to satisfy what they are aiming to research. Next would be the data gathered would be the most updated, which is very obviously true because secondary data, which are also data researchers from the past, they are all not up to date and they are all done in the past for other people to refer to. Next would be data is taken directly from the minds of the targeted customer that the researcher themselves used to target. Next would be secondary data. As I have mentioned before, secondary data is data that past researchers have done for their own research, and it is used for current researchers to refer to in order to gather a deeper insight into a wider market. So here, we could see that the advantages, the first will be to understand the gaps in the industry that they are currently researching in, because if past researchers when they are researching their aims and objectives, you could see that there are always gaps in between where they couldn't find the solution to it. So it could be more convenient for you to see to identify the gaps and then do your homework and research on it. Next would be to help to obtain further insights into a similar targeted market, and this would help you if you are aiming the same industry. For example, for this case, it is a clothing industry. So there are many targeted market you could focus on. They could be the elderly, there could be the children market, which what we are focusing on now, and also there are also the luxurious market as well. So in order to obtain further insights, you have to refer to secondary data and focus on the targeted market. Next would be comparative studies could be done to understand why certain research has been brought up. It's also sort of similar to the first point to understand the gaps in the industry. And next would be reanalyzing of data could be done. Right, here would be the disadvantages of it. For the primary data, there is only a limited amount of area in the industry that you could research on because there's only limited resources since you are collecting the data yourself. You don't want to consume too much time or either waste too much resources. Next would be lack of control over the data quality. Since you are doing the research yourself, it is highly likely that you are doing it alone, and even if you are doing it with several people, the control over data quality may be deteriorated because of the amount of work that needs to be done and amount of coverage that needs to be done as well. Next would be more numbers of resources are needed to confirm the theory, hence time consuming, as what I have mentioned before earlier. Disadvantages of secondary data would be the data is reused multiple times, thus interpreted differently by different researchers and not having a consistent reliability over it. Next, it is not specific to a researcher's needs, and thus it is double the work for the researcher themselves. And next would be some researchers contains gap in their research that could confuse other researchers as well. So primary or secondary data, in my opinion, I would think that for this case, both data should be used in order to cover a wide range of areas. Like for example, primary data should be used in order to target your own aims and research for the opening of your own business, and secondary data should be used to refer to in order to not repeat mistakes that have been done by past researchers, to ensure all-rounded research and to ensure reliability and validity of research data. Right, I will pass next to my teammate. Thank you.
The Blue Board owner has suggested two data collection method, which is self-completion and install. This is the advantages and disadvantages. The advantages for self-completion survey is that it's easy to administer, may get more response than the other option. This may be preferable for the shop owner because it's less intrusive. And the advantages of this self-confidence survey is that it can target for whole as a whole chain or more than a branch. The disadvantage is that designing the questionnaire part, what and how will it design, right? And then will we get a valid and reliable response in return? How will they know the target population? And there won't be any opportunity for the observation. Whereas in-store, the advantage is that you might get a quick response in return. Also, when Alexandra is having a face-to-face interview, she can also show some examples of the products. She will be able to observe and get a more qualitative feedback from the customer. The disadvantage is that Alexandra might not be a trained interviewer. She might not know how to structure interview or conduct them ethically. With the time slot given, she might only get a few responses in return. Space needed, it might be a little congested for the shop, probably, due on the space availability and how representative is the branch of the chain as a whole. Next slide. Compared to the two data collection method, I would think in-store survey is the best option because it's hard for customer to not answer face-to-face interview. It saves a lot of time and cost. Also, in return, you get an immediate response. Customer feedback won't be limited based on the options given because sometimes customers' answer can be different than the options given in the questionnaire. Also, that this will help to increase or create a bond and have a better understanding on your customer needs and wants. Also, that in-store survey, face-to-face interview will be better because you might receive a honest answer rather than depending the options given in the questionnaire. And the last one would be in-store survey might get a valid and relevant response compared to self-completion survey. Passing on to the next slide.
The research model we are going to use is quantitative. Quantitative helps us to qualify the problem by generating the data and transform statistic and generate the result from a larger of the target populations. It is more reliable and define the relationship between the variables. For example, systematic observations. It helps us to set out a study to eliminate the unreasonable opinion of some social groups. And the questionnaire model we are using is fishbean model, that we suggest that targeting the population is parents or careers with a sample size of 150 participants with the consumer generating attitudes and belief. Next please. This is some example of questionnaire. The question of a fishbean model, there is no wrong or right. For example, do your children buy their own clothes? How do you purchase these brands as your children's clothes? This is more concerned with the opinions and the viewpoint of the target populations. Next, please. This is the 5-point Likert scale that we are suggesting to use. It is non-comparative scaling technique and one dimension in nature which able participants respond specifically of their level of satisfaction and capture their intensity of their feelings. Here's my slide. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much, everyone.